Hello everyone, I'm back to talk about if the average human can beat these Clash Royale cards in a fight, Epic Edition. Now the way it works will be exactly the same as the rest of the series, where the average human will be 5'10", which is the average British man's height. They'll have average speed, average stamina, average agility, average everything basically. Like last time, the human will have a sword, and the cards will have whatever weapons they have when they're deployed. I'm going to be ranking the fights based on this tier list from S to F tier, S tier being that the humans would obliterate the card, and F tier being the opposite. And with that, let's get straight into the video. Okay, the first card's the Barbarian Barrel, and this is a pretty similar matchup. I think the human should be agile enough to dodge out of the way of the barrel as it's coming towards them. Obviously, they both have swords, with the Barbarian's without most of its clothes. Plus, I think it might be a little bit injured from the landing of the barrel. I can see this fight going either way though, which is why I'm going to put it in C tier. Next up, we're going to do the Baby Dragon, and this is going straight into F tier. There shouldn't really be any debate. The Baby Dragon doesn't need to go anywhere near the human for it to attack. All it can do is just fly up in the sky where the human can't reach it, and then just breathe fire all over the human, killing them. I don't think the human's even going to survive one fireball if it hits them, and for that reason, it's going straight into F tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Void, and this is just a little bit unfair, isn't it? Literally a circle that opens up underneath where the human's standing and causes giant ferocious beams to come out of the sky and kill the human. There is no way that the human's surviving, and so this one's also going to F tier. Okay, next up we'll do another spell, which is the Rage. This one is a lot easier to beat than the Void because it's literally just a bottle of liquid opening up above the human. The Rage isn't really used for damage, it's more just used to speed up troops. It's like if a bottle of Red Bull opened up above the human and fell on them. The human's easily surviving, this is going in S tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Guards, and I think the Guards get the better of the human in most situations. Because there are three of them, they could overcrowd the human, one of them goes on each side of the human, and then they all stab the human at the same time. However, I'm not going to put this in F tier because the shields that the Guards have actually look like they're made of wood with just like a little bit of metal surrounding them. I believe the average human is strong enough where they can just take the sword and stab through wood. If the human stabs through the wooden shield, it can like pick up the Guard like that and then start swinging it around, and maybe it can hit the other Guard at the same time. Because there's a chance that the human will win, I'm going to put this in D tier, not F tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Expo, and I don't really see the human winning here. The main problem with this is that the Expo has like a lock-on feature where it can just lock on to any card, no matter where they are. And if you have about 100 arrows a minute coming at you, you're going to die, aren't you? There's no way the human's going to become Prime Darth Vader and just start like slicing the arrows in half. Even if this fight takes place over close range, the Expo still wins because it only takes like 2 arrows to kill the human. That's why for me this is going in F tier. Okay, next up we'll do the Hunter. In the game, the Hunter has a longer than normal recharge time. Now, I think if the average human is smart enough to use this to their advantage, they can let the Hunter shoot and maybe dodge out of one wave of cannonballs, like, because they all go in different directions. They can probably, like, duck under them or something, and then while the Hunter's recharging, the human can go and stab them. Now, there is a chance that the Hunter could just shoot the human and they die, which is why this is not a clean smash and grab, but because the human wins a lot of the time, I'm going to put this in A tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the regular Prince, and I don't think the human's going to win at all. If you look at it from a logistical analysis standpoint, the Prince's lance is way longer than the human sword, which means if it comes down to a 1v1, the Prince is going to stab the human first. On top of that, the Prince can just charge with his horse and run laps around the human, and maybe just start stabbing it from all angles while it's running around. Not really a way the human wins. And on top of all of that, the Prince has armor as well, which is probably strong enough to withstand the slice of the sword. Therefore, this is going straight into F tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Bowler. Now the Bowler's a bit of a weird one because if you take away the stones that it throws, then it's just like a weaker version of like Hulk or something. If you look in the game, the speed that the rocks move at is kind of slow, and I think it's slow enough where the humans are able to dodge out of the way. Then the human can make their way to the Bowler and then just stab it. There's a chance that the rocks might just run over the human and then the skull gets crushed or something like that, but I think that the likelihood of this happening is lower than the likelihood of the human getting to the Bowler and stabbing it, which is why I'm going to put this in B tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the E-Dragon. Like the Baby Dragon, there's no way that the human can hit the E-Dragon. All it needs to do is fly in the sky and just shoot electricity until the human dies. The human isn't surviving one hit of electricity, they're just going to burn and die, and the sword isn't going to be useful either, which is why E-Dragon is going in F tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Skeleton Army. Now this is a pretty tricky one because there's like 15 or 16 skeletons in the whole army, and although they're small, it's like asking the question of if you could beat 16 year 4s with knives in a fight. If they're all coming at you at the same time, it's very low odds. However, and there's always a however, the human could take their sword and like the Valkyrie in Clash, they can just like start spinning around and like taking out all the skeletons at the same time. Because the skeletons are so short, they might only be stabbing the human's shins, which means the human still has his arms to use and can use that to stab all the skeletons. Now the likelihood of this is low and the skeletons are going to win most of the time, which is why I'm going to put this in D tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Dark Prince, and we're going to use the same logic as the Prince earlier. Now if we're using the same logic, I think that the club that the Dark Prince uses is like a bit smaller or the same size as the human sword, and also I believe humans are able to take at least one hit from the club, and if the human's able to do this, then they might be able to stab the Dark Prince and the horse that is riding on at the same time. Obviously the Dark Prince is wearing armor, which means he could probably take the slice of a sword, but what I'm saying is if the human stabs the horse and the horse like starts jumping up and down because it's in pain, maybe it flings the Dark Prince off and the Dark Prince lands on its head and dies. Don't forget there's always a chance that the human could win, which is why this is not going in F tier, this is going in D tier. Okay, next we're going to do the balloon. I know a lot of you are going to think, oh, the balloon absolutely wipes out the human has no way to reach the balloon. What's the human going to do? Well, I'll tell you what the human's going to do. The balloon's way of attacking is by dropping bombs, and it can only drop bombs when the balloon is still. Now, if you hear me out here, I think that if the human takes advantage of the balloon while the balloon is still, the human can like throw their sword like a javelin and pop the balloon. And then this will cause the skeleton guy in the balloon to fall to the ground and die, and probably explode in the bombs that it's got. If you apprehensively, logistically actually think about it for a minute, this has like a 50-50 chance of happening, which is why I'm actually going to put this in C tier. Okay, next up, I'm going to do the cannon cart, and I don't think the human has any chance here. In the game, the cannon cart fires the cannons at a high rate and a fast rate. I don't think the human is agile enough to dodge out of the way of the cannonballs, so the human's just going to get hit. It's going to poke a hole through the human, and they're going to bleed out and all that. That's why for me, cannon cart's going into F tier. Okay, next up, we're going to do the mirror, and for this one, I'm going to say that it's a mirror of the human. It's like a human fighting itself. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. It's just going to be a 50-50 chance between either side, so it's going to go into C tier. If we're on the topic of the humans fighting themselves, we should do the clone next, and I'm going to say that if the human gets cloned, it's got to fight a cloned version of itself. In Clash Royale, when the cards are cloned, the clone actually has like no health, so if the human is just going up against a weaker version of itself, the human's easily going to win, which is why the clone is going in S tier. Okay, next up we've got the Rune Giant. If you hear me out and look at the card design for the Rune Giant, its hair is actually covering its eyes. For me, I interpret this as saying that the Rune Giant is blind. I know it's got 2 metal hammers, but it can't really use them if it can't see. It's gonna have to rely on its hearing and smelling and all that. What I'm saying is if the human is quiet enough and sneaks up to the Rune Giant and then maybe breaks its leg and then stabs it in the heart or something, the human's winning. The only thing is if it takes more than one swing to kill the Rune Giant, because if it takes more than one swing, the Rune Giant will instantly know where the human is and then just start whacking his hammers there, which is why it's not all cozy dozy for the human. That's why I'm saying the human has a high chance but not a 100% chance, so this is going in B tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Executioner. Now, I don't think any human is surviving a giant battle axe being thrown at them, and then it acts like a boomerang, so it goes back to the Executioner. Even if the human manages to dodge out of the way of the first battle axe, when it comes back to the Executioner like Thor's hammer, it can just go through the human. That's why I think that there's not really a way that the human can actually beat the Executioner, which is why this is going in F tier. Okay, next up we're going to do the Giant Skeleton. Once again, I know a lot of you are going to think, oh, there's no way the Giant Skeleton is going to lose to a human. But hear me out, I've got an idea. If the average human is smart like me, what they could do is realize that the giant skeleton is actually quite a slow troop. For some reason, it's carrying a giant bomb with it. If the human gets his sword and uses it like a match and lights off the bomb's detonator and then starts running away, the giant skeleton is just going to have like a bomb that's about to explode in its hand. And because the giant skeleton is slow, it's not going to be able to run after the human in time. And then the bomb's just going to explode with the giant skeleton, killing the giant skeleton. There's a small chance that the human's too slow and the bomb goes off with the human in range and they both die. But I think the human should be fast enough to outrun the slow giant skeleton, causing the giant skeleton to die, which is why I'm going to put this in A tier. Next up, we're going to do freeze. I don't know how long the average human can survive with frostbite, but I'm pretty sure it's longer than 4 seconds. The human can easily survive being frozen for 4 seconds. The only thing that's worrying me for the human is about if the human like dies from sudden shock of temperature change, because obviously humans are warm-blooded, and then if they get frozen, they become cold-blooded like reptiles, which could kill them. But because for me, the human survives more time than not, I'm going to put this in B tier. Next up, we're going to do the golem. I don't really need to talk about this one at all. If the human tries and stabs the golem, the sword's just going to bend and break. All the golem needs to do is lift up one hand and smash the human like that. The human skull is getting broken instantly, and this is going in F tier. Next up, we're going to do the Goblin Giant. Unfortunately for the human, there's no way that they win this one either. Unlike all the other giants, the Goblin Giant is actually fast and it's carrying a sword. It's like if Michael Myers and the Hulk kind of like forced together and then they had babies as well that they carry on their back. All the Goblin Giant needs to do is just track down the human, stab them. Even if the human manages to somehow, some way kill the actual giant, there's still 2 little spear goblins throwing spears at the human anyway, which could kill them. And that's why this is also going in F tier. Next up, we've got the lightning, and I still haven't learnt my lesson from the last video. Lightning strikes 3 times. I'm pretty sure, I don't know if this is true, I might just be making this up, but I think that lightning is like attracted to metal or something. So what I think, if the human thinks tactically smart, yeah, if the human just leaves the sword on the floor and like walks away, the lightning's just going to get attracted to the sword. That way the human won't get hit by any lightning and will survive. There's a chance that the lightning might just hit the human on the head and they might burn and die. I think that the human has a high chance of winning, which is why I'm going to put this in B tier. Okay, next up we've got the E-Giant, and humans are going to have a hard time taking this one down. It's a giant with like a giant electric field around it. I know I just said that the humans might be able to survive lightning strikes, but the E-Giant's got like an electric vortex around it, plus it's a giant, which means it can probably kill you with 1 punch. The E-Giant's kind of fat from the looks of it, so even if the human manages to stab it, I'm pretty sure the E-Giant will be fine. And then the human's going to get electrocuted and burned to death. That's why the E-Giant's going in F tier. Okay, next up we've got the poison, and I don't think any humans surviving this. The poison just slowly sucks away all your health until you get weaker and weaker and weaker until you pass away. The human sword isn't going to do any help here. For me, there's no way that the human survives, which is why this is going in F tier. Okay, next up we've got the tornado. Now obviously tornadoes are quite dangerous. They're in real life, they like attract everything into its like circle and start spinning it around and throwing stuff everywhere. And I'd assume that it does the same thing for the human if we weren't using what it does in Clash Royale. In Clash Royale, all it does is just bring the human to the center of it, and that's it. It doesn't like start swirling it around and damaging it and all that. It does just like a little baby attack. I think most humans are quite easily able to survive the tornado, which is why I'm going to put it in S tier. Okay, next up we've got the witch. Obviously the witch spawns skeletons, which the human can quite easily take out with the sword, even though they have their own mini swords. Like I said before, the skeleton army just stab them all like swinging a sword around. But the main problem where the humans are in trouble is the witch itself, where it like shoots blue magic at the human. Now I've never really experienced blue magic being shot at me yet, but I think that most humans are not surviving that. There's a chance that the humans could go all like lightsaber mode, start like blocking the blue magic with the sword like this, and then like fend them off like that, and then get to the witch and stab her. But I think the odds of this are low, which is why this is going in D tier. Okay, next up we got the wall breakers, and this is pretty 50-50. Obviously the wall breakers are super fast, so what I see them doing is running towards the human to try and take them out. But in the game we know that the wall breakers have no regard for their own life, so when they're trying to take the human out, they're going to take themselves out too. Even if the human tries to run away, the wall breakers are going to catch them up and just explode. Now if everyone in the situation dies, then it ends up being a draw, which is why I'm going to put this in C tier. Okay, next up we got the goblin drill, and I think this is quite an easy one for the human to take on. The drill itself comes up from underground, so as long as the human doesn't get caught by it and get like hit in the balls by the drill itself, it's going to be okay. And that's because when the drill comes above ground, it just spawns goblins that the humans can take out one at a time, no problem. There is a small chance that the goblins could like accumulate if the human doesn't take them out fast enough, and then this could lead to them all stabbing the human at the same time, which could lead to the human's death. But more times than not, the human's winning, which is why this is going in A tier. Okay, now for our last card, we have the P.E.K.K.A, which I accidentally misgendered last time, but it's a female. But that does not mean anything. Females are still powerful and strong, but obviously the gender doesn't really matter because it's a giant robot that's going to come and kill you. And because it's a giant robot that's going to come and kill you, it's going straight into F tier. There's no way that the human is beating it. It's got a giant sword. If the human tries to stab the P.E.K.K.A first, it's just going to deflect off the metal. And because she's so powerful, the P.E.K.K.A is going in F tier. Okay, thank you all for watching this video. Here's the final tier list of all the cards. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like it, obviously, and subscribe if you want more content like this. If this video hits 50 likes, I'll do the legendary edition, and let me know in the comments what you disagree with. And with that, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.